Right, welcome to this master class on how to get organized, get heard, and get leads. We're going to be talking about how female coaches, consultants, service based entrepreneurs can actually turn their expertise into a lead generation machine. Who doesn't want that, right? So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hopefully, you can see my screen here. And let's get into it. So, by way of introduction, my name is Aldreama Harper. I am a podcast launch strategist, systems consultant, and host of the Organizedpreneur podcast, where I help you to get organized, get heard, and get leads. But before I get into that, let's just talk about what the struggle is. Okay, what is the struggle? So, the struggle is that, and these are some stats that I just recently researched, that 63% of entrepreneurs say that generating leads is their number one challenge. Number one challenge. Um, I get it. When I first started out, that was my number one challenge as well. And it can be very challenging. And with today's training, the goal and the objective is to ensure that by the end, you will understand how to get organized, get heard, and get leads, and how this process will help you to uh, get leads and overcome that challenge, according to HubSpot. So social media, and this is part of the reason, is because a lot of people use social media and depend on social media a lot for getting leads. Now, I'm not saying that social media doesn't work. Okay, that is not my position, because it does work. What I am going to say about social media, primarily because I do use social media. I just don't depend on it. The problem with social media is that people only have seconds of attention. People's attention span has shortened tremendously, and people are just scrolling. And so when people are just scrolling, they're just going to go to whatever the next thing is, whatever the next um, whatever the next thing is that grabs their attention. That's what they're going to go to, right? The other problem with social media is that algorithms control visibility. So what that means is that, if you're using Facebook, or if you're using LinkedIn or YouTube or TikTok, any of the other platforms, the algorithms control your visibility, meaning they decide who sees your content. They also decide, how many, and all of those things, but they control your visibility. And so that can be a huge issue that contributes to you being able to generate leads, particularly if you are depending on social media. Thirdly, posts will disappear in a few hours. If you doing reels or shorts or um, stories, on Facebook, they disappear within hours, and so they don't stay there. And so one person may see it, but then if the next person is there scrolling for a few seconds, 24 hours later, they won't see your post, or they won't see your story, or your reel, or what have you. And so the social media platforms actually control your visibility. And so that makes it a little bit harder to get and generate leads, especially if you're doing this organically. So here's the thing that I want to share with you, that you don't need more hacks. Some people, go out there and they, hack the system, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but they're looking for more shortcut to, generate more leads and getting seen and getting discovered on a lot of the platforms. So you don't need more of those. You actually need clarity and consistency. Okay, clarity and consistency. And the other thing that I want you to understand is that podcasting is a system. It's not just noise. So you don't need to be out there just making noise, right? There's a lot of distraction. There's a lot of content out there. There's a lot of things going on that's that's looking for your attention. So you don't need more distractions. You need a system. You don't need noise, right? You need clarity and consistency. And I would also add congruency, right? Because you want your messaging to be congruent with who you are, what you stand for. And so your expertise is your gold mine. Your expertise is your gold mine. Okay. And so hopefully that makes sense. Um, so we're going to talk a little bit about why podcasting works. And so I shared with you some of the things in terms of why social media kind of limits and, controls your visibility. So podcasting works because, and this is what I recently discovered, um, it helps you to get clarity in your messaging. Like when you are podcasting, even when you're using and leveraging social media, but particularly podcasting, it helps you to get clarity on your message because if people don't understand, who you stand for, if your messaging is vague or if your messaging does not hit different, as some of the young people say, um, you when using and leveraging podcasting as one of the avenues for getting your message out there, podcasting will help you to sharpen your value with every episode. And it does this over time. And it's just funny, the way that works because it really is. A lot of people out there are saying that, okay, everybody's starting a podcast. There's so many podcasts out there. Yeah, but you know what? There's a lot of podcasts out there, but there's a lot of podcasts that's dying off. Okay, they're just people don't stick with it. And one of the reasons is because, if you're trying to speak to everyone, then you're actually speaking to no one. And so one of the things that you will over time understand is that when your message is not clear, when your messaging is not hitting the right person, you're not clear about your goals and your intentions and the things that you want to share and your values. Podcasting works because it helps you with message clarity. Next, it also helps you to deepen the attention of the listeners. Okay? Unlike social media, which social media again only, 30 seconds for people to just scroll to the next short or the next reel or the next post. Podcasting helps provide a deeper attention because the listeners will actually give you, if they like what they hear, right? They will actually give you 20, 30 minutes of their attention. Okay? Attention is like a currency now. There are a lot of currencies in this internet space and then online space, but attention is one of those. And so if people are only just giving you seconds of their attention and they're moving on to the next post, then you want to make sure that your messaging is clear, that the people that you're trying to reach, the message sticks out to them. And if they're giving you 20 to 30 minutes of their time, of their listening time or their watching time, then that's going to help you get more visibility with your podcasting. The third benefit in terms of why podcasting works is that it's evergreen content, right? It creates a library that works for you 24/7, and it is out there unless you take it down. It is out there pretty much forever. Okay, it's an evergreen content, and there are a lot of ways you can repurpose that. We're not going to get into that in this particular training, but when you think of evergreen content and content that's out there forever, then there are other ways you can repurpose your content into other types of content. So hopefully that makes sense. So here are a few stats for you as far as podcasting is concerned. So um, 9 to 10 episodes per week are consumed by female podcast fans. That's according to Edison Research. So if you are a female podcaster and you are watching this training or watching the or listening to the podcast or what have you, understand that there are a lot of female podcasting fans that's consuming 9 to 10 episodes per week. I am one of those that consumes podcasts quite a bit. I love podcasting. I love hosting my podcast, and I love listening to other people, other podcasts that has my interest. Okay, and my attention. So that's according to Edison Research. So another stat is that 77% of marketers say podcasts are their most favorite or their most effective lead generation tool. 77%. That is one of the reasons why if you're asking the question, if you're one of those that's asking the question about podcasting and you're saying, okay, there's a whole lot of podcasts, out there. Why is everybody launching a podcast? This is why. If you are marketing your business, if you are, in that space, if you are a coach or consultant or any service-based entrepreneur or in that genre, then you can be one of the 77% of marketers who say that podcasting are their most effective lead generation tool. And so I concur with that as well. And then another podcasting stat, 62% of buyers say that they purchase after long form content. So podcasts are considered long form content, whether it's video or audio. It's a type of long form content that can inform your buyers, that can encourage the know, like, and trust factor, because people will buy after they get to know, like, and trust you, right? And so these are some current stats. That stat is from Demand Gen. You can go and check that out. I don't have the link in here, but you can go and check that out. And so these are very encouraging stats, and hopefully it's encouraging for you because it will definitely increase your chances for getting more leads to your program or your services or whatever it is you are marketing. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about the My Signature framework, which really helps you to get more leads. It helps you in getting organized, getting heard by hosting a podcast, and then getting leads. I will give you a link at the end of this training so that you understand a little bit more about how this works. However, I just want to give you the 3 steps, and I'll break that down. The first step in my framework is to get organized. To get organized. These are essential steps prior to launching your podcast. Now, most of the time when I talk to people, they want to know, well, what kind of mic do I need? all the things that's actually not going to move the needle in your business. What's going to move the needle in your business is clarifying your niche. Okay, you have to know who you're talking to. You have to understand, your target audience. You have to um, be really clear about your values. You have to understand where they are, how to reach them, how do you create your messaging. So all of that is essential to clarifying your niche. Now, there is a 5-part process that we can't get into all of it now. I do discuss this in the program, which I will share how you can access that in just a moment once we get through this. But clarifying your niche, okay? Organizing your systems. Please understand this. There are a lot of moving parts. There are a lot of moving parts to launching your podcast. There's a lot of moving parts to getting leads. There's a lot of moving parts to this whole entire process. And so, one of the things that we go through in the program is how to clarify your niche. We go through a 5-step process, help you organize your systems and design your show format plus your workflow. These are the things that you need prior to even launching your podcast. So we don't talk about, the mic and, your studio, all those type of things first. We talk about this part first, because if you don't have this part, which is the foundation of launching and the foundation of getting leads, then if we don't talk about this part, the other part is just not going to work. So it's a very essential foundational piece prior to launching and prior to moving forward and getting leads. You have to be organized. Okay. All right. So that's step 1. Step 2, we help you to get heard by helping you to plan your content strategically. You must be strategic in the planning of your content. Okay. So when I said just a second ago that there are a lot of moving parts, I really mean that there are a lot of moving parts. Okay. And I say that from experience. And so, because my very first podcast that I launched, I didn't know this stuff that I'm teaching you now. So I've been podcasting since 2013. So I've launched 3. My very first podcast, I did not know this stuff. Okay. I had no idea. And so my first podcast only has 12 episodes. I think it's 12 or 14. I always forget, but it's either 12 or 14 episodes. And I stopped. I became one of those statistics where my podcast started to fade. Okay. I didn't move forward. I paused for a little while because I didn't understand how to be strategic in my planning efforts. And so I don't want that for you. Okay. Then how to repurpose into multiple platforms. Now, you may already be doing that, but maybe it's not working. And so you don't want to or need to be everywhere on every platform. Number one, you need to find out where your people are. Okay. And that's one of the pieces in the getting organized. Okay. In clarifying your niche, we talk about your purpose, your plan, your platform, which is at the end, excuse me, your purpose, your plan, and all of those things in between. You gotta have your messaging clear. And so if you're not having your messaging clear and you're showing up on all of those platforms, your people might not even be on those platforms. Okay. So, but we show you how to repurpose your content on multiple platforms where your people are. Okay. Because social media does play a huge role, but it's not the most important role. Okay. Because we're actually talking about podcasting as your primary platform. Okay. And you will go through the process of discovering where your people are. and how to plan your messaging around getting to those people. And then another way to get heard is to collaborate and guest on other people's podcasts. Now, this is not the primary way that in terms of what I show you how to do, but it is one of the ways, right? Like you get templates and reach out to other people so that you can get on other people's podcasts so that you can tap into their audiences. And so that is absolutely another way to get heard. But we focus on planning content strategically and how to leverage other platforms and and social media platforms and repurpose your content so that you can get heard. All right. And then collaboration and being a guest on other people's platforms is one of those ways. So hopefully that made sense. So that's step 2. So step 3, then we teach you how to grow your leads. Okay. This is the most important step. Okay. And so in that process and getting leads, you must have calls to action on your podcast, on all of your content, right? You must have calls to action, whether that is book a call with me or whether that is sharing a link in your show notes of how they can reach you or how they can go to your website or whatever your call to action is, right? So this is just one of the steps. Okay, and so we show you how to do that. Connect your episodes to your email list. So the other thing that we show you is how to connect your episodes to your email list. You got to grow your email list. The difference between, or should I say, that one of the most strategic things that you can do to get leads and grow your business is to grow your email list. Because when it comes to your email list, there's no algorithms, right? If they sign up to your email list, then they want to hear more from you. And so that's how you can nurture the relationship with your listeners. Okay, so you connect your episodes to your email list. Not only that, you can connect your episodes to your articles or your posts, or there's a plethora of things that go into getting leads. Okay, and ultimately you want to convert your listeners to clients. Okay, that is the ultimate goal of all of these steps that I'm sharing with you, is to ultimately get clients for your business. So if your business is tied to your podcast, you're going to have to go through all of these multiple steps in between. Now, you may be thinking, okay, that sounds like a lot. Well, again, there are a lot of moving parts, but the things that you learn in the program, as you can see at the bottom there, it's called the Launch, Host, and Grow method. But the thing that you learn is how to create a system, an ecosystem around all of those moving parts. And so when you do that, it's not so overwhelming. So now, this could be you. If you're a coach consultant and you're struggling to get leads, where you launch your podcast with a clear system, a clear process, a clear ecosystem that gets constant leads that ultimately will convert into clients. This is how I get leads. And here's the thing, I've actually been doing this for quite some time, and I just did not have, um, I didn't have a name for it. I didn't even know that's what I was doing. And so, but this is how this all works. And so I show you that we can do this within 6 months when you follow the process. Now, here's what I will say with a caveat. So, I can't guarantee new clients. because I don't know your sales process. I don't, what you're doing on the other side of it is, totally on you. So if you follow the process, then you will definitely get leads, you will get subscribers, and the more leads and the more subscribers you get, the higher the possibility of you getting clients. So this is a numbers game, okay? It's a numbers game. So when you if you are again struggling to get leads, and we create and launch your podcast with a clear system, with a clear ecosystem. All right. So if you do what I'm doing, and you let me show you how to do that, then um, you will get those type of results. All right. So here's the takeaway. Podcasting is not just content. Podcasting is a business growth system. It's a business growth system. And so when the system is clarity plus consistency will equal clients. Okay. When you get clear on your podcast, when you get clear on your clients, when you get clear on your values, when you get clear on your target audience, when you get clear about how you can realistically launch your podcast and have consistent episodes with a very clear message speaking to your target audience, ultimately it will produce clients. If you want to learn more, I will put a link below this video where you can go and find out more, book a call with me, and then we can talk about it, because maybe you already have a podcast, right? And you're just not getting the kind of leads that you want. We would just have to kind of refine your podcast, right? It may not require as much focus on your launching process. Maybe it's the other pieces. So basically, we have a conversation. We will talk about whatever the gap is, and we will focus on that. The Launch, Host, and Grow method helps you to create a strategic foundation that leverages podcasting, virtual events, and email marketing to build visibility. Not only that, it helps to build engagement and conversation. And so that is what the Launch, Host, and Grow methodology is all about. I will add a link in the description so that you can go and find out more. If it just piqued your interest and you said, okay, I would like to know more about how this works, then definitely get on a call with me. Now, this is not a sales pressure call. Basically, it is a strategy call so that we can find out how to fill in the gaps. Okay. And answer any questions that you may have. And so this is whether you're getting ready to launch your podcast, whether you're feeling stuck on how to turn listeners into leads, or you're not sure how to organize your next steps, right? Or maybe you just need help streamlining a plan that's doable. That's what the call is for. Okay. And so this is the question. Here's the question. Would you rather have 10,000 passive listeners or 100 qualified leads? Okay. I would rather you have 100 qualified leads than to have 10,000 passive listeners. That's what I'm saying. 100 qualified leads who hear you, okay, speaking directly to their pain, and they want your help. That is crucial. That is the difference between being heard and being hired. So if this made any sense, if this piqued your interest, I will put the link in the description. But you can find out more about the Launch, Host, and Grow Coaching Circle. It is currently $47 a month. $47 a month. It's a group coaching program. that you can cancel at any time. You will discover and you will learn how to build your podcast that brings in leads, not just likes. Okay, not likes don't pay the bills, right? You'll learn how to craft episodes that convert without sounding salesy. You want to speak directly to the person's pain points and help them. Okay, so I hope that this message has helped you. Hopefully, I've spoken to some areas that maybe you're thinking to yourself, okay, yeah, I'd like to know a little bit more about that. I would like to get on a call with her, or I would like to find out more about this coaching circle, or maybe you just want to jump right in, right? And so, again, it is currently $47 a month where you can cancel at any time. Also, you get live Q&A a month, okay? I will help you to turn your content into a simple system that grows your list authority and your revenue. So, if any of this sounded interesting to you and you felt like, yes, I'd like to know more, I invite you to go to this link, bit.ly, bit.ly/LHG coaching circle. Okay, I'll say that again just in case you're listening to an audio. bit.ly/LHG coaching circle. The LHG is for launch, host, and grow. And so I'd love to see you in the program, $47 a month. And yeah, you ready? Let's do this. All right. Have a great day.